traveled the world, are there any features from other cities' taxis that you
Well, as David said, New York is a particularly difficult environment for automobiles. In London, for example, the roads have a lot fewer bumps in them, or potholes. And London, the reason for that, as much as anything, is London does not have the seasonal change that we have. What hurts New York City roads, in addition to the fact that they are very heavily used, is the change in seasons. And water gets into a crack and it freezes, it expands, that pushes the asphalt up, that creates a bump. The next car that comes over, it starts to exacerbate that. Pretty soon it turns into a pothole. New York City is a place where we do tend to maximize the use of our resources. Certainly our roads are stretched to capacity. We're not going to have more roads, but that's why we want to get people over into mass transit. And taxis, as I said, are part of our entire mass transit system. As a matter of fact, the taxi industry, my recollection, David, is that the amount of money spent on taxis per day is more than is spent on the subways and buses combined.
They drive,
I think it's about that. It could be, you have to check if we use the number, but it's that order of magnitude. So taxis are very heavily used in this city. But I think that's as much as anything. You look at the turning radius of a London cab. I don't know that that's necessarily useful here. And I think also we romanticize what it's like elsewhere. I've been in lots of taxis around the world, and the New York taxis certainly aren't on balance any worse, and arguably somewhat better. And if people take a taxi, ask tell the driver where you want to go, how much they know about the city. We try to make sure they're up to speed, but it's a big city. When you say you want to go to Gracie Mansion, most times people know, taxi drivers know where to go. Not every time, but as we get more and more into everybody having GPS and things like that, some of that knowledge is going to be less important, and you'll just be able to speak into your GPS and say, Gracie Mansion, and bang, it'll tell you where to go. And then it's going to tell you the traffic routes, and the more you have that in your hand, the more you can hold your driver accountable to take them the best thing. All the technology is going in the direction of making the experience better and more affordable. In spite of there was one story in the paper today of somebody that got scammed, but that typically doesn't happen.
Yes.
We'll take questions.
I take my question.
You got the first one.
Yes.
We read this, and it's not setting a precedent.
But I thank you. After 4 years being silent here, I almost have a heart attack. However, my question to you is recently your friend Diane Taylor told New York Magazine that she would like you to be president. Have you had any pillow talk with her about that?
I'm glad I asked this question. I will, number one, I've said I'm not running for president. I'm committed to serving out the balance of my term, which is 1,142 days from today, but who's counting? Number two, she hasn't expressed that to me, but as I've said, you really want to work in a place where you live in a place that's an office building. I like living here in this city. I like working here in this city. I have no plans to run for president. I've never asked her about that. I think her latest thing when I talked to her, she thought maybe we could take a week's vacation, which we haven't done in 9 years. So I promise that when this is over, I will take at least a week's vacation. Other questions? Any other topics? Yes, I just want to give you a question before.
In terms of the 9/11 bill, what kind of strategy do you have for lobbying senators, and are there specific senators you're targeting?
Yes, obviously you would target those who have expressed some interest in the past in the topic. Kirk from Illinois, when he was a congressman, voted twice for the Zerota bill, so that's an obvious one. I've had conversations over the years with Olympia Snow, Susan Collins, Scott Brown. There are other people that have understand, and I will make the case to all of the number of senators that there are people that would be covered from their states. But it's also the right thing to do for America. And I haven't talked to John McCain about it, but you can rest assured I will put in a call. I believe he's traveling overseas at the moment, but put in a call to him. This is what's right to do for those people that came to our defense. Democrats believe that they have, during this lame duck session, almost all of their members, but they would need a couple Republicans. So my focus is going to be on that. It's all directed to the Senate because the House, as you know, has already passed the bill. So, yes, Ms.
Mayor, there's a landlord in Brooklyn who owes the city, I think, $140,000 for basically not maintaining his apartments. At the same time, the city's paying him $10 million by leasing office space in Brooklyn. I'm wondering if there's anything the city could do to
Well, as you know, Deputy Mayor Goldsmith has a program to try to see if we can't do something about it. The law probably says you can, but it's not clear. And remember, some of these leases we entered into a long time ago, and it happens all the time. The building is then sold. Our lease is still a legally enforceable lease. Obviously, whoever bought it with the knowledge that we were there. And so you can't. There's always these stories about who is actually renting a space that we give a tax break to. The tax breaks we give are as of right things. Typically, we give them to the landlord, and then who the landlord goes and rents space to. It's really not clear that we can go back and say no, but we are looking into it, and Goldsmith's got a team trying to see whether or not we can use it as an enforcement tool. Because it would be useful if we can, it's just not clear that we can. And also, there's also the issue of, some of these landlords, they have one building under one name and another building on another, and it's not quite as easy as it sounds to understand the connection. If you happen to know somebody that says that Joe is really married to Sally, and they both okay, maybe, or Joe did it under Joe Smith and then Sam Jones at another place. It's not quite so easy, but we are trying to do it. Yes, ma'am?
In light of the Inspector General's report, do you think that it's time that the city consider taking over Battery Park City?
We've talked about taking over Battery Park City, the economics of whether we can do that or not. We're still looking into it. I think the first thing is to make sure that everybody behaves honestly. I don't know what happened in that case. I don't know whether any of the allegations are true. Taking over Battery Park City, I believe we have a right to do it, but the question is, can the city take on another burden, and would it be an asset or a liability? It's a big part of the city, but if it's functioning well, maybe you could argue that we shouldn't. Yes, ma'am?
Why didn't you give the contract that you released for Ridgewood Bushwick to another social services agency that does the same work but isn't under investigation?
There is nobody else that we could find that could serve the public, and what we really had to decide is, do we want to take away the services which, by every test, Rosedale Hearn in particular said these services, and Linda Gibbs, there's nobody else willing to do it in that neighborhood. So we have to decide which is more important. I'm not as comfortable as I'd like to be that we're with the right agency, but on the other hand, they have, by all standards, provided a good service, and they're the only ones willing to provide that service. And taking away the services from people in need is not something we should do lightly. We just cannot find anybody else.
What is
So
the
big organizations doing well. Yes.
Are you concerned that the opposition to Kathy Black has become so great that some state and city lawmakers are urging the commissioner not to grant her a waiver?
No, I assume that this is a woman who is eminently qualified to help us run what's more than 1/3 of our employees in the city, more than 1/3 of our budget, $23 billion of the taxpayers' money, and 135,000 people. We need somebody that can do that, and I think she's had lots of experience. Times are very tough, and Joel Klein has built an amazing team of educators so that area is covered. And keep in mind, when I came to office, I don't know how to run a sanitation department or what the issues are. My expertise is in picking good people and then